Hi, thank you for joining me. I just wanted to say if you've been listening to the introduction and chapters 1 and 2, chapter 3 has been so amazing. I know I just started it, this is the second part of it, and it just blows my mind that the author of the book has shared information in regards to Egyptian mythology, god and goddesses, and was able to connect it. And I have another series on the Bhagavad Gita, and it talks about the Hindu gods and even how Krishna, who joins Arjun on the battlefield, is this understanding of God, coming through and talking and giving advice. And through all of these stories, there's a wonderful connection and a deep calling to finding one's soul, to tapping in and to just finding the passion that fuels us to ignite the soul, to awaken the soul. And across all religions that I've read and have come to understand, that is the purpose of life, to give service where we can wholeheartedly with no expectations of anything being in return. And if you can't give it, then don't do it. If you can't do it with your whole heart, then don't do it. It shouldn't come back that you wish somebody did something because you did something, or that you're doing something in the hopes of something to come back. At a soul level, you're doing it wholeheartedly out of the goodness of your own heart, of your own soul. And that should bring you joy and light. They say the gift of giving is in the giving, and we shouldn't expect a gift in return. And it's beautiful because that understanding in this chapter 3, the rebirth, talks about that coming into this life, which is the enunciation of truth, that when you're born, you're going to die. Like, there's no lie in that, right? And that the rebirth is really us choosing to do good, us having the free will and choosing to live a life of compassion and love and forgiveness. That is the rebirth. That is the new life. And that is the life on earth. That is heaven on earth. And I just wanted to say thank you for joining me. And I hope you continue to join me. And I love sharing this book. And I only got halfway through and I figured I would share. So I am truly enjoy sharing it. And if you have any comments or if you'd like to share what it means to you or what you've gotten from it so far, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. There is no offer here of the forgiveness of sin, of salvation by faith, of the doctrine of substantiation. There is no apology for the positive statement, nor is there any qualification. Unless a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven. One of the most frequent questions we meet is that of those who are more or less on the path of life. Righteousness, in the language of the scriptures, is what then of those we love, a father, mother, brother, and sister, dear friends, and those who have befriended us, and who may not have heard of this great law, or having heard of it, have never been given the interpretation of its applications to life, and who cannot therefore live the enlightened life? There is but one answer to this. Unless a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven. The complement of this hard saying, and one which equally rends the heartstrings of the kindly disposed, is the master teacher's answer to his mother when she found him preaching to the elders and reprimanded him for neglecting her. Woman, what have I to do with thee? I am about my Father's business. This is an explicit and unqualified command. Once we are about the business of lifting up the Son of Man, we must not, dare not, permit anyone to interfere, irrespective of how much we love them or how near they are to us. In these two statements, we have the whole of the law. Man must be lifted up. He must change from a life of evil, of carnality, to that of goodness, though the word goodness is not truly appropriate. It has a sense of smugness. Man must change to a life of rightness. doing those things which have no harmful reaction on the self or others, things which are constructive and of benefit to humanity at large. First of all, the thought life must be changed. With a change of thought will come different desires, and as a result, there will be higher aspiration. There must be a feeling that though still of the earth, a part of the great human family, one is also likened with the cosmic world. One is also linked with the cosmic world, through which we may contact the law. Call it God or what you will. The Nazarene, it should be noted, nowhere claimed to be the only Son of God, though the creeds make God say, "This is my only begotten Son." Contrary to the pretension of man's unwillingness to face the whole truth because of the lack of desire to live the whole of the law, the Nazarene repeatedly states that we may one and all become the sons of God, that we are part of Him, that we came from Him, and may return to Him. He is our Creator. We in turn are His messengers, His representatives on earth. Unfortunately, though, as a master of truth, we are most frequently prototypic of the trusted messenger in the army who sent forth to deliver a confidential message to a friendly ally, betrays the trust by placing the information into the hands of the enemy. Man is most frequently a traitor not only to all that is highest, but in the same ratio to himself. Every one of us is given a message. The question is, will we deliver it? This message is one of goodwill, of fellowship, of service, of love. It is an opportunity which has wide ramification, the privilege of pointing out to our fellow man, more by the life we live than by words, the path to an ennobling and all embracing life. How few of us are even partially loyal to the trust placed in us? Let each one answer this question in his own heart. When we change or transmute hatred and jealousy into a forgiving spirit and goodwill, when we have a kind word and encouraging gesture for our fellow man instead of general fault finding and belittling gossip, we have to that degree entered the path leading to the new birth, have made that much progress toward bringing the soul into its brightness, consciousness. On the contrary, it is immaterial how exalted our opinion may be of ourselves, our understanding, wisdom, and culture, if at the same time we are ever ready to speak ill of our fellow creatures and create conditions which will further lower them, making their life more difficult. We have not as yet taken the first step toward the greater life, and our rebirth is as far off as it was when we first made our entry into this mundane sphere. Rebirth must begin in the mind, a reversal of the mental process. If we are in the habit of permitting the mind to drift into thinking thoughts we would be ashamed to voice before others, we are thereby degrading, lowering ourselves, and we are departing further from the possibility of rebirth. The mind is the thinker, it is the creator, it is the builder, the son of Joseph, the carpenter who is as yet no more than a son of man. The mind is the generator of good or ill, the current that will construct or elevate, degrade and destroy. The mind must undergo a change as to think constructively and ennoblingly. Mind must seek desires that lift up. For if I be lifted up, I will lift up all men unto me. If the thoughts be lifted up, then so will the whole being. It is uplifting thought, followed by desire, which will begin the soul building process. The soul is similar to a huge vessel filled with diverse cargo. The soul is similar to a huge vessel filled with diverse cargo. Among this cargo will be found many beautiful things, but it is predominated by the grossest rubbish in so far as their usefulness is concerned. The soul, like this ship, must carry its freight into port. There are but two ports to reach. One of these is the port of death, the other is the port of continued life. Man's rebirth begins within himself. He alone is able to bring this about. Others can be of help to him by pointing the way, by encouraging, directing, and guiding him, but he himself must follow the path, do the work, and have the strength to stand firmly against all opposition. All of us were thrown into space by the great Creator, Jehovah, the cosmic urge, God, call it what you will. We were all creatures of God, but we were dissatisfied. We wanted to know, to experience, and so fell. Were thrown into space by our desires and became the sons of men. The fall was easy. The climb upward is much more difficult, but the reward is worth a lifetime of struggle, for man cannot conceive of a greater treasure than to raise himself from a worm of the dust creature to a God-begotten child whose soul is filled with wisdom and delight. We all have the opportunity to become sons of God. When the Christos appears, which cannot be until we have prepared the temple, lighted the sacred fire upon the inner altar of the soul, and have prepared ourselves for the heavenly baptism, then in truth shall we have become like him, for we shall be as he is, and shall stand face to face with our own soul, which has been reborn into the likeness of the universal Christ, the cosmic soul. Much of the understanding, the wickedness, the degradation, and cruelty of mankind today is due to the false interpretation, often for purely selfish purposes of men and institutions, of the philosophical and religious teachings of those who were masters, saviors, and Christ to the face at various stages of their earth habitation. Man has run away from the real inner self and has hidden his face, turned his face away, as did Adam and Eve, from the face of God, while they were yet in the garden, but had already betrayed their better selves. We have allowed forced the inner self, the real self, to shift for itself. We have starved it for want of proper food, given it a stone instead of bread, and have covered it with a vast pile of debris, failing to recognize that in doing so we actually placed behind ourselves the very thing we were seeking. Just as did the kings of King Arthur's time, when though in quest of the Holy Grail, they sought and fought in every corner of the world, ignorant of the fact that it lay hidden within themselves. Humanity has about faced, turned its back to the light, and is dwelling in a state of darkness. In some instances, mankind is again trying to pierce the veil to find the sun. In reality, the sun is within each and every one. The soul of man is the sun to his body, just as the sun in the heavens is the soul of the world, and the light therefore. Instead of turning toward the east for light and following the path of the sun to the west, mankind has foolishly reversed the procedure and has returned to the west and continues to live in darkness, therefore in ignorance and ignobleness. The Nazarene was born in the west, that is, of the flesh, but became the Son of God, of the light or Holy Ghost, through his own efforts. In like manner, are all of us born of the flesh, but we have the privilege of being reborn, regenerated into sons of God.